What's going on, guys? My name is Sam, and you're watching Cast Blast Camp. And today, we're going to be doing a little more hunting. It's time for some fall hunting, with squirrel season opening up today, and then dove hunting opens up in about a week or so. Today, I'm going to be hunting for some squirrel with my 12 gauge shotgun. It's a 12 gauge Mossberg pump action, and also I got attached to it is my new trigger cam. So hopefully, I'll be able to get some cool shots for you guys. And today, we're loaded up with number 6 shot. 2 3/4. Okay, I'm gonna start getting quiet and heading down this trail and do a walking stalk. If I get to a good little patch of hardwoods, I'm gonna go ahead and sit down and break out the squirrel call. See if we can call some in and get some squirrels down. Thanks for watching. So this is a Primos squirrel call. It makes 5 calls in one. I went ahead and printed out the instructions on how to do each call, so I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can try to do a gray squirrel bark. I have yet to spot any squirrels, but I just spooked a deer. There was one bedding right over here, and I spooked him up. Deer. So now I'm just making my way along the backfield, watching the trees for any sign of movement. So after you call, you want to sit and wait for a good few minutes and just watch the trees and watch the ground. You never know where there's going to be one. So far I have been doing barks, but this is a distress. I sat still and waited for a while, but I didn't see any sign of squirrel, so I decided to go ahead and pick up and move on down the trail. And that's when I spotted one. It is about maybe 80 to 100 yards away on the ground foraging. So now I need to come up with a plan on how to stalk it without spooking it. The squirrel is on the left side of the gravel, so I'm going to make my way to the left side of the gravel as well and try to use some of the grass and the branches and the trees and weeds as cover to my advantage. As I continue to slowly stalk the squirrel, it took a good little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and speed up the footage for you. I am now getting closer and closer. With each step, the squirrel keeps on looking up, hearing my footsteps, but does not get spooked and stays in the same spot. I am just now steps away from being in perfect shotgun range with these number 6s out of the good old Mossberg pump. There is an overhanging weed in between me and the squirrel. The squirrel is on the gravel, and the weed is kind of blocking its vision from completely seeing me, and I'm using that to my advantage to sneak up on it. I am now in perfect range. Let's take the shot. We got one, guys. Squirrel down. Squirrel down. Pick up your empties. Oh, he's still alive. That's another thing, guys. You always want to pick up your empties. Don't just leave them laying around in the field or in the woods or on the trail. Pick them up. The squirrel was expiring right now as I was getting closer and closer. I was just keeping my barrel on it in case if it wasn't completely expired and it wanted to run. We got him, guys. Squirrel down. He's done. Yes, sir. We got us one. We got us one. Got the skunk buster. Not a bad squirrel, guys. Not a bad one. We finally got one after miles of walking. We spotted this guy walking down this trail and we got him. Hopefully I got a good angle on the trigger can there. All right, let's go ahead and put this guy in the game bag and keep on looking for some more. Yes. I'm going to try to sound off another call to see if there's any more in the area. Sometimes squirrels run in packs. So that was the only squirrel I ended up seeing at this hunting location. I've got back to my vehicle and I'm gonna go ahead and head to the next location and see if we can find some more. So I showed up at another hunting ground that I have harvested squirrel and deer at before. There is a patch of trees over here to the right, which is known to hold some squirrels. So at this point, I am looking at the trees and scanning branches for movement, and I think I have spotted something moving around on a tree on the back side. I have lost visual of the movement now. I'm going to try to move up a little bit to see if I can regain visual. I took 1 or 2 steps and out of nowhere I spotted the squirrel jump on a tree branch. Got him. Squirrel down. As soon as we show up to the next hunting spot, we get one. There could be another one up in this tree over here too. Second squirrel, guys. Second squirrel. Heck yes. Another female. This one looks a little bit chunkier. Awesome. After I got this one, I continued to hunt for a few more hours, but never saw another one. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to clean a squirrel. It's pretty easy, and you can do this several different ways, but I'm just going to go ahead and show you one way. The things you'll need is you can get it done with just a knife, but sometimes some scissors can make it a little bit easier. But you want your knife to be nice and sharp. First thing, we're going to have to disconnect all 4 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and take the scissors and just cut them off. Okay, now we got all 4 feet off. we're going to get the knife out, and then we're going to take the knife and cut right underneath the tail, right through the tailbone. Just like that, right through the tailbone, and then you'll want to continue down the back just a little bit to get that skin started. Then basically, you'll take one hand, grab the back legs, the other hand, grab the tail, and you'll pull it off like you're basically pulling a sock off. So during trying to take off the tail, the skin went ahead and ripped, which is okay, that can happen. So there's a backup method you can do to get this off instead. What you'll do is you'll take your scissors or your knife. You'll come up above where the skin ripped off. You'll try to pinch up a little bit of that skin and cut a small slit into it. Now that there's a small slit, we can try to grab onto that and use that to pull the fur off and the skin as well. It's a little bit tough, but you just got to work at it. Alright, we got half of it off the bottom. Then you just keep working the top half of the pelt till you get it stretched over the arms, just like so. And then over the next arm, and then you can go ahead, cut the head off. Now this one already had its gut pocket opened up just a little bit, but the guts are still intact. So we're just going to go ahead, continue opening up the gut pockets and discard the guts. Alright, now that is a nice clean squirrel. There will be some hair on here, and the hair likes to stick to the meat. So one good method is you can get this under some nice cold running water and get a sharp blade and basically just scrape the hair off just like that under the water and it will come off. Then you can quarter it or you can cook it whole. I'm gonna go ahead and clean the other one, quarter these up, get them in some marinade, and meet up with you tomorrow for the cooking section of the video. Alright, the squirrel meat has been sitting in lemon juice, marinating overnight. Now I'm going to go ahead and just strain it off. Alright, we got all the squirrel meat in a pot covered in water. Now we're going to go ahead and throw in a few fresh picked sage leaves, some salt, and some pepper. As well as some pure garlic powder. Now we're going to turn that on high heat, bring it to a boil. So I actually boiled it closer to 15 minutes. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this off the heat and set it aside and start letting it cool. Next, we're going to start making some gravy. Instead of using butter, I have some pork fat. We're going to do about 3 tablespoons, give or take, and let that get melted down. I'm also going to add in about 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. I'm going to whisk this together. So what we're doing right now is we're making a roux, and then we're going to add some milk to it here in just a second. You'll want to mix and whisk it together for at least a couple of minutes. Get everything incorporated together. And we're doing this on a medium heat. Now we want to add 1.5 cups to 2 cups of milk, depending on how much you want to make and depending on how long you're going to cook it. I'm going to add a little bit over 1.5 cups. And then you'll want to stir this in and incorporate everything together. Also now is when you can put in some salt and pepper to taste. You want to constantly stir it at this point. It will start to thicken up as the milk cooks. And at this point, it won't take much longer. You just cook it until the consistency that you're looking for. If you want it thicker, cook it a little bit longer. If you want it a little bit runnier, you can go ahead and take it off. Alrighty, that's looking like a good consistency to me. Let's go ahead and move it off the heat. Okay, so next, here comes the tedious part. It's deboning all the meat. If the meat is cool enough, go ahead and start taking the bones out and taking the meat off the bone. If it's not cool enough yet, you can rinse it under a little bit of cool water to cool it off. Alright, we got all the meat off the bone. Now I'm just going to go ahead, dump it in, and mix it in with the gravy. Alrighty, that's squirrel gravy. Now you can eat it as is, prepare some toast, or make some biscuits. Alrighty, these are pre-made biscuits. I'm not going to show you how to make a biscuit recipe. There's plenty of them on YouTube. You can go ahead and look one up if you don't know how. I got these warmed up. I'm going to go ahead and pinch them up into the plate and then scoop over some gravy. Okay, and that's how you make squirrel gravy. It's looking pretty good. I've never tried squirrel and gravy before, so let's go ahead and give this a taste test. Alrighty, it smells good. Let's try it out. Let's get some biscuit, get some gravy. Make sure we get some squirrel meat in there too, all in one bite. That's pretty good, guys. I mean, you can tell it's not sausage, of course, but it's not bad by any means. The gravy's pretty decent, and it has a sausagey flavor since I use like pork lard instead of butter or oil, so it does have a pork kind of flavor, as well as the sage that I used to boil the squirrel meat in. All in all, it's a pretty good recipe and a good way to eat squirrel. I'm going to have to try some new recipes in the future, including barbecue, rice pilaf, and maybe a couple more. But until next time, if you guys enjoy these hunt, catch, and cook videos, let me know in the comments below. Also, please consider liking, sharing with friends and family, and subscribing if you haven't already. Sam out.